Hello, hello, Cindy here, Bucket List Coach, Web Show Live, National Saxophone Day, guys. Woo!
Here we are.
We'll be right back.
Saxophone Day.
Well, hello, hello, Cindy Lee here, Bucket List Coach, Web Show Live. Today we're coming to you 9 p.m. And definitely, I celebrate every day. So a little bit about the podcast. I started this podcast back in 2017. So we do a lot of lifestyle podcasting, aviation, and especially music. And music is one of my favorite things that I like to podcast about it. And I love having these guys on. They're on about 2 or 3 times a year. And today they're on for National Saxophone Day. So let's get into it. Well, here comes Chris. So kind of tell your story a little bit, and then we'll play the video.
Hey, I made it.
Hey.
Hey, Cindy, Saxy.
Hey, boss. How's it going?
So
I
go
made
ahead
it,
and talk
barely.
about what you guys got going on, maybe just for like a minute or two, and then I'll pop the video in.
Okay. Well, we've I'll start. Yeah, it's looking to be really busy next year, which is great. So we're about to be able to announce some shows fairly soon, but we've got a handful of Southern California shows. We're going to be back in Hilton Head, South Carolina area next summer for 3 nights.
Oh,
We
wow.
sold out 2 nights there a couple summers ago, and it was great. So they asked us back for doing 3 nights this time, which will be really cool. So we've got that. We're going to be going back to Alabama. Looks like
Yeah.
I froze.
We just got off that great tour too, right, Chris?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Virginia, Pennsylvania, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So we're going back to a couple of those venues, back to Pennsylvania at the Lamp Theater, looking at probably next October. We're still locking it down specifically. And going back to Alabama twice, actually, for 2 separate venues near Gulf Shores. So we're in the planning mode, but it's starting to come together and going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for celebrating my 60th birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Came
the
out
end
to
of
our
July.
show.
It was really amazing. And I'm going to play this really quick video.
Okay.
Perfect.
There's half of my crew there.
Nice.
And you remember that kid? He was all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves the Love Train.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Looking good,
Oh.
Saxy.
Hey, thank you.
That was pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
let's tell your story, Saxy, and then we'll go into something with Chris here in a little bit. How did you get involved in playing the saxophone? Did you start at a young age like me? I started playing the clarinet at
Oh, yeah.
14, 15 years old.
Yeah, no, for me, it started with I was in 6th grade, and I had a choice between like PE or choir and band. And my dad played trumpet, and he was like, well, if you can do trumpet, there's this other thing called saxophone. So I picked the saxophone. I never really liked it that much. But then when I realized that I could learn how to play the WWF wrestler theme songs for my friends, And so I'd play like the Hulk Hogan theme and like Bret Hart and all these other guys. And once I learned, and I realized I had a good ear and I could pick up songs and learn them. And so, and then that became like, oh, I'm just going to entertain. Like that's once I connected with that. So, and then I just went through high school and was super dedicated to jazz. Went to Berklee College of Music, more jazz and then actually a lot of world styles, Afrobeat and rock and roll and all sorts of things opened up for me. And then I've been in an original band called Barley for about 16 years now, and a very like Americana kind of beach vibe band. And then Chris, about 5 years ago, got me into the tribute scene. I've been playing with Private Eyes, doing all the Hall Notes music, and doing some Mystified with NXS. And then that video you showed, that was me in an all-girls tribute band because girl saxophonist was sick, and so they needed somebody to jump in. So the band's called Some Girls, the Rolling Stones tribute. And so some girls and some guy.
Some girls and a dude.
Right in my backyard.
You were Stephanie Herring. You were Stephanie Herring.
I know. I offered to dress up. I said I'd put on the wig, and they're like, "Really?" And we just decided let's just go with Saxy as normal. So,
the drag
were you inspired by somebody to play the saxophone? Is there someone you followed when you were younger that really inspired you to?
When I was young, yeah, I think there's so many inspirations. But the first thing I remember when I moved to Virginia for middle school, I listened to Dave Matthews' "Under the Table and Dreaming." Like,
love that album,
top to bottom, over and over and over again. And Leroy was their saxophonist, who's unfortunately passed away now. But his style, his tone, his vibe, it just it just was mesmerizing. And that really started me off on the right foot. And I've always kind of followed that sort of style since. And then I had an incredible private lesson teacher in high school named Gary Hammond, who was like an old school jazz cat who had he had a story where he had met all the famous saxophonists, like with Coltrane and Dexter Gordon and all these people. He'd just been in that jazz scene, and he really taught me how to not just play the saxophone, but how to like make a cool vibe out of it, like how to really like make every note sing on the horn and to think in a very melodic way. And so, yeah, I've had that among many other inspirations.
So me playing the clarinet, how much easier is it to play the sax, or is it a little bit harder?
I will guarantee you that I will have you playing sax in 10 minutes if you've ever played clarinet.
Awesome.
Before. Clarinet is so much harder.
I've played clarinet in over 20, 30 years. It's been a minute.
I'm telling you, you're going to be shocked at how. So the thing I always tell people is that I believe that anybody can learn the saxophone, and very quickly. The saxophone was invented in 1848, and it was specifically designed to be easy to learn. And people say, how's that possible? It's got so many keys on it. There's so much complexity. And no, the complexity makes it easier because all this is doing the work. On clarinet, you got big open holes, and you got to get your finger on there perfectly right. And you got 4 different pieces to connect. If they're not lined up, that thing will squeak on you. No, saxophone was designed for violinists and clarinetists to learn quickly for marching band, because you can't march with clarinet and violin in like cold and wet weather. Mm-hmm. But so the saxophone was designed to replace that and be easy to learn. So I tell you, 10 minutes, next podcast, I'll have you playing saxophone.
See, that sounds so complicated.
For International Music Therapy Week, right, in April.
Yes, there you go.
Actually, that sounds so complicated to me. Like I always thought with all the keys, because I started off on tuba. So we had 3 valves, and then eventually we upgraded to a tuba with 4 valves. I'm like, oh my God, I got to use 4. And so only ever using 3 or 4 fingers for the first few years of music and stuff, started playing bass. It was like, that was enough. So I'm like, it's got more than 4. You got to use both hands. So it's like, I still don't understand how that works on sax.
It's so easy. I'll get you on there too.
I'd be very curious to learn, actually. I'd love to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we always talk about story. So do you have any stories, let's start with Private Eyes, that someone has come up to you that, kind of really resonated? Maybe they have a story that something happened with them when they were younger. Do you have anything that kind of sits out with you in your head, like what's really, epic?
Yeah, I think, and I think Chris will say the same thing. Like, there's just such a multitude of stories. Like, we're inundated with, because I think we're the only band I've ever seen that like immediately runs off the stage and goes right to the meet and greet. and like sees everybody,
Yeah.
like especially me. Like they can't even find me because I'm already out like chatting and talking to everybody because I just want to know and hear all their stories and learn about like. And they all tell me, "Oh, I played clarinet back in the day. I played saxophone back in the day." And so many people. That's what I think. If I was to give it a theme to the stories I hear, it's always people telling me like, "I used to play it. I wish I didn't give it up." And I was like, "Well, why?" And I say the same answer every time, like, "Get it back out." There's not enough saxophonists out there. This is another thing I tell people a lot. Like, name a saxophonist, and 90%, 99% of people can't name one. And if they do, they'll name Bill Clinton, they'll name Lisa Simpson, or they'll name Kenny G. Only those three, and then name another one.
Paul Taylor.
Yeah, well, so there you go. And some people will know, but it's always the fourth answer is always like that guy from that band. They won't like, like, oh, that guy from Springsteen or that guy from the Money solo with Pink Floyd. And it's so rare, like all the drummers from Rush and all the guitar players from all these other bands, but no one knows saxophonists. And so that's one big goal of mine is I want to make sure, it's even in my name, Saxy. It's like I want to like get more and more saxophonists to be like known as saxophonists, not just by the general public, not just by musicians. And so a lot of the stories are just me talking to people about like trying to re-inspire them and re-engage them. Like, don't give up on music. These instruments are made to be played. And you know what? If you play in your local bar band, like great. Like I miss those days, where sometimes it's not a big show. It's just like, it's just loose and fun too. So yeah, I think that's probably and if I think of something more specific, I'll let you know. But Chris might have one.
Yeah, what do you got to say about the Stephen Saxy, Chris?
Oh God, about Saxy in particular. I mean, Saxy, he's awesome. He's got charisma, personality,
Definitely,
and that's good. And and what's also good is that it's like we can do our show with one sax or two sax. Obviously, two saxes are ideal. So we get double the sax. We call it our double sax attack. But we've structured the band to where we've all got crazy schedules and stuff. So if Saxy or APJ, our other saxophone, if they're busy, we can do the show with one. But what's great when we have the two saxes is Saxy and APJ, they blend so well with each other. And so that's really fun for me. I like doing the double saxes on Maneater. And they do some other solos together, but they're not just playing. They've got synchronized moves. And the audience just goes nuts over it. So as far as sax is incorporating into Private Eyes, it's like that's always, I feel, a highlight of our show. Whether it's Saxy by himself doing the Saxy walk, going up and down through all the audience members and all the way to the back. If there's a balcony, Saxy will go up to the balcony. Yeah. One time we did, the rest of us didn't know this, but we were in Augusta, Georgia, and the crew and Saxy kind of got in on this behind the scenes, and they escorted him up to the catwalk. And so here's a good story. So we're sitting there and we're playing, and usually we're vamping on Sarah Smile while Saxy goes around, and we're smiling, we're watching them and stuff. And we couldn't find him. And I noticed I'm looking out at the audience and everyone's looking above. And I'm thinking, well, that's not, I'm like, there's the seat, the balcony's back there. And for the longest time, I'm like, why is there? So I had to kind of get up a bit, and I turned around and it was Saxy's silhouette. So he was in front of us, but they had it to where the light was just a silhouette. And you just see the silhouette above the stage of this saxophone soloist just walking across, and it was just the coolest thing. Yeah. And we've got a video up somewhere. I'd post it on our social media. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So
it was like 60 feet up or something, and it was like shaking, and I was scared to death. But I will never forget the look on Nate's face on stage when he like looked up at me and was like, because I told no one, but the crew had actually come up to me and said, "Hey, you want to do that?" Like they kind of like egged me into doing it, and so it was kind of a mutual thing. And I was like, if I can surprise the band, that makes it so much more worth it, So.
Well, it was an awesome surprise. Yeah, that was a great surprise. That was so. And the thing too is that also I guess one of the crew had a camera, because there was also to get up there, Saxy had to take a very narrow spiral staircase, but yet Saxy was still soloing, so he's sitting there navigating the staircase while he's killing it on the solo, working his way up. It's like the music never stopped once, even though he was up all over the place. Yeah. So It was a great experience, and that's just a great example of the kind of stuff that Saxy brings to the show, and then Saxy and APJ together, doing their stuff on stage or going out into the crowd. It makes for a lot of fun.
And let's do a shout out to your other saxophonist. You want to talk
APJ.
A little bit about him too, and do a big shout out to him?
Yeah, go ahead, Saxy.
Dude,
you're his partner in crime.
Literally a brother from another mother. Like, he's like, when we're on the road, he's like my caretaker. Like, he tells me where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to do, and reminds me what parts are happening. And he's like, and he's the responsible one. He's always like on stage and on time and packing up and like keeps us and driving us all over. He's such a good, but his like legacy is just, he's played with Rick James.
Yes, I remember him telling me that.
And but like, he never talks about it. Like, he has like, you have to like get him to talk about it, because most of the time he's so modest and so
very humble.
Like, it's so humble about it. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. And and then he's got such style and class, and he's like, and it like really like made me a better saxophone player. And he's also done a lot to like help my setup and my equipment, and
vocals, help you with some vocals.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about it too, with vocals, absolutely, because he's a killer singer. But the other thing that I'll say, like, I just have not been in a lot of bands with a lot of other horn players, and I kind of find that sometimes, and this is not to, I love my fellow saxophonists, but sometimes that doesn't always work well to have the two saxophonists, especially, big personality ones. And so, but the fact is, like, we, like, unlike any other horn player, trumpet, brass, saxophone, anything I've ever played with, we gel so perfectly well, and we literally complete each other's sentences musically, because we have everything I am, he's the exact opposite of, and everything I need him to be, he is. And so it's very unique that happened, and that we have that like just complete partnership together.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yeah. We got a few more minutes. We got about 4 minutes left on the show. Anything else you'd like to add on, why people need to celebrate? Well, actually, it's in the end of the day today. But what does National Saxophone Day mean to you guys? Let's go ahead, Stephen Saxy first.
Yeah. What I found, and this is happening all the time now, and it happened with our former saxophonist, Tyler, people love the impact that saxophone makes on a band, but also just in life. There's so many viral videos, and Tyler, who's an incredible saxophonist, he literally does weddings where he just books himself as a saxophonist. He does some piano and does some music backgrounds and stuff like that. But literally, he's just paid to come in to these weddings at receptions and just walk around playing saxophone hits and like covers and songs, and at these like beautiful, like fancy weddings. And then I've been doing a lot of things what I call Saxygrams. I literally did one yesterday for a birthday party of a staff member at a job site I work at, where I just run in and play Happy Birthday, or I run in and play Careless Whisper, and people will like you can basically order a Saxygram, and I'll come and surprise your friend. And
that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been fun, because it's like people don't. I think the saxophone strikes at a different part of the human soul. Nothing against bass, Chris, but like there's something about saxophone players just popping in and making a big impact, and like it speaks to people, and it can really like brighten up somebody's day. So just what I've learned is that there's a power to the instrument that needs to be harnessed, and that's kind of my journey right now is finding opportunities to put it in front of as many people to change their day and make them happy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And Chris, how do you feel about celebrating National Saxophone Day?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. It's like sax is just so cool again now. It's like sax was big, obviously. As far as rock and pop music, sax has always been a cornerstone of jazz. And then, for rock and pop, it was huge back during the yacht rock era, late 70s, early 80s. And then it seemed you would hear it in pop music all the time. And, sometimes instead of a iconic guitar solo, there'd be an iconic sax solo. And then it seemed like for a while, like maybe starting like early 90s, once grunge kind of changed everything, it's like saxes weren't as cool, at least in rock pop music. You didn't hear them as much. To me, I didn't think they seemed as cool. I always thought they were cool, but I'm saying public perception. It just in pop culture, it didn't seem like saxes were as cool for a while. And then at some point, I don't know, maybe in the past decade or so, it just seems like suddenly saxes are everywhere again, and they're cool, and able to do things like saxygrams. Talking about our former sax player Tyler, who like makes his living doing sax at weddings. And it's just like saxes are just very cool again. And I think too, because saxes are the nature of the instrument and the parts they play, you kind of got to have an attitude in a good way, like charisma, a type of attitude to be a sax player if you're performing live, And I think that also, you can get away with stuff on sax that would be maybe look a little goofier if I did it on bass. It's just there's a personality and an image and just a coolness that's with, or APJ just looking super cool with his own style, and so I love that. So it's definitely something we're celebrating and having a day to talk about it and give kudos to the great sax players in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. Saxy, you want to do a shout out to the restaurant bar you're at today?
Yes. Thank you, Applebee's.
Oh, you were at Applebee's? Oh, it's you're at a gig.
Yes, actually, I got to tell you. So Applebee's actually holds a really strong place in our hearts as musicians because they're open late. They have good food, and when we're on the road, like that Applebee's was so cool.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. When we're in like Pennsylvania, like where are we going to eat? And we've done our IHOPs and our In-N-Outs and stuff like that. But this is like, it's such a good place. And like, they were like, "Hey, do you need a spot to do your podcast interview?" Like, hey, and they put the heater on and like they took care of me, and it's really cool. They're like really chill, and so I was like, "Hey, thank you, Applebee's in Norwalk, where I am right now." So
nice.
Very cool. So let's talk about Temecula because that's the closest we have here in Orange County, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what do you have for next year? Do you have anything for this year for Temecula, or are you done
we were just at the Vibe in Old Town Temecula 2 weeks ago, and so we were there. So they usually book us a couple times a year, so we'll be back on. It's February 22nd, so just 222. That's easy to remember. We're back on February 22nd, and then again some point I believe in June. I don't have the exact date. And it's fun. That's a fun show for us because, like Saxy was talking, it's a different kind of vibe because it's a smaller venue. It's basically a club, a very nice club. So it's definitely a change of pace for us from the performing arts centers or the big theaters or the larger clubs. So that makes it really fun for us. So we had a great time a couple weeks ago, and we'll be back in February.
Is that the same place that I've been before?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The sound in there is beautiful. The acoustics, everything is beautiful.
Yeah. The audience is just arm's length away. Like it's so close. It's great, to connect with them.
Yeah. It used to be called, for years it was called Old Town Blues Club, and now they just rebranded it. It's called the Vibe. It's the same place, same type of experience. We're looking forward to being back there.
Okay, go ahead and do a shout out first. Saxy, do a shout out to your website, and then Chris, do a shout out to your Private Eyes after that.
Sure.
Yes. So my website is Music by Saxy, and that's the same with all of my social media handles on Instagram and everything as well. So you can check it out there. We've got awesome Saxy merch now. We've got awesome Saxy videos, and you can even order your own Saxygram if you got a cool event or somebody you want to surprise.
Great.
Awesome.
And Chris, go ahead and do a shout out.
For us, our website is just a simple hallandoatestribute.com. That's A-N-D, hallandoatestribute.com. And then we're on Facebook and Instagram at Hall and Oates Tribute. So all consistent.
And the question I always ask on all my shows, when we're here because we're celebrating, Saxy, go first. How do you celebrate every day?
Oh, that's an amazing question. I think in the last couple of years with some very significant life changes, with losing my parents and some other things, I've just really decided that there's so much that we stress about and so much that we worry about all the time that it means literally nothing, and is usually forgotten within moments, or whatever I was stressed about literally 20 minutes ago, I don't even remember now. So just to take what I celebrate every day is the fact that you can exist beyond all the news cycle and all these things out there, and you can just accept the moment that you're living in. The moment is really what I'm describing. That just, hey, you're here, you're safe, you're breathing, and you've got the people around you, and to take advantage of every moment you have while you have it. And that's sort of the mantra I tell myself daily, is to to seize the day and take every chance and opportunity I can.
Chris.
Yeah, well, very well said, Saxy. I mean, I kind of have the same attitude. I totally agree with Saxy. It's I think it's just, every day trying my best to just have a positive attitude, be more of a glass half full kind of guy, and just try not to let the crap beat you down, because you're getting, especially working in our industry, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of things you think are going to happen, and then suddenly they don't. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. And so I think you've got to kind of have a certain type of positive attitude, and also to just, like Saxy would say, not get stressed out or worried about that stuff. Because if you can get through that, then, it makes every day fun, and it makes the music aspect of what we do, really, really fun and inspiring, because we're inspired and we want to inspire the people we play for as well.
I want to say how I celebrate every day. I actually pick up the National Day calendar every day. I have a desktop calendar, and I look at different ways for me to celebrate. So tomorrow, actually, so today's date is I'm on the wrong calendar here. So today's the 6th. So tomorrow is Bittersweet Chocolate with Almonds Day, International Merlot Day,
very specific,
Fountain Pen Day. There's so many different ways to celebrate, and more importantly, it is the month of November, and it is National Gratitude Month. So
there you go.
You guys, I'm so grateful for you guys, and I like to take a couple times a year to appreciate you guys, or send a really quick little message to say how much I appreciate you. And it's because of Nathan that I've got to know everybody in your band, so I'm just so grateful for that.
Yeah, well, thank you. So are we.
So
shout out to Nathan.
We still gotta go. We still gotta go to see a Jeopardy. So we gotta figure out how we could schedule all our schedules together.
Yes.
That's really an amazing bucket list. Maybe we can do that for 2026.
I love the idea of that. Yeah, watch it all the time. So that'd be a treat to get to go see a taping of that.
All right, so we are heading out, and happy National Gratitude Month, and of course, stay tuned in April, because we actually have Guitar Month coming up, and also our annual tradition where we try to get more of the guys on the show. We'll get hopefully Nathan on here next time. We're celebrating Music Therapy Week, the International Music Therapy Week.
Cool. Yeah, look forward to that. That'll be great.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so much.
We'll see you next time.
Okay, have a good one. All right, bye. See y'all.